Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big stories behind the numbers. Today, we're digging into K&R Rail Engineering, a company that's at a really fascinating and honestly, maybe a perilous crossroads. Is this a story of incredible growth, or is it a cautionary tale for investors? Let's kick things off with a number that, well, tells a pretty dramatic story: minus 79%. Yeah, that is the massive drop in quarterly revenue K&R Rail Engineering just reported compared to last year. A number like that, it doesn't just raise a few eyebrows, it sets off some serious alarm bells. And believe me, those alarm bells, they are ringing loud and clear on trading floors. This huge drop comes with a really stark warning from analysts. They basically slapped a strong sell rating on the stock. So the big question is, right, how does a company with this history of crazy growth suddenly end up here? All right, so let's get into it. The red flags are flying. You just can't ignore them. But what are the specific warning signs that have everyone looking at this company so closely? Because it's not just about one bad number. It's about a whole bunch of them that when you put them together, paint a really, really concerning picture. And to really get what's going on, we have to look inside the numbers themselves. A few key figures from their latest report really show the scale of the problem. This is where it all starts to get very real. So take a look at this. It lays out the reversal perfectly. In just the second quarter, their revenue completely collapsed, down 79% from the same time last year, landing at just under 34 crore. But what's even more critical here? The company went from making money to actually losing it. And that translates to a net loss of 0.26 crore. Now, I know what you're thinking. That might not sound like a gigantic number on its own, but let's put it in perspective. For the entire last fiscal year, they made a profit of 6.2 crore. So to swing from a full year profit like that to a quarterly loss, well, that's a huge and frankly pretty worrying turnaround. And this isn't just some short-term blip. If we dig a little deeper and look at the company's core profitability, what we call EBIT, or earnings before interest and taxes, we see a staggering decline of over 150%. This number is so important because it cuts out all the noise from financing and taxes. It tells us that the fundamental business, the actual building and engineering, it's under some serious, serious pressure. Okay, so how does this really bleak quarter line up with the company's history? Well, this is where it gets interesting. It's like a tale of two completely different companies, creating a real puzzle for anyone trying to figure out what happens next. So here's the crucial point, this massive contrast. On one hand, you've got this 5-year history of just explosive sales growth. We're talking an average of over 53% year after year. I mean, that's the kind of thing that gets investors really excited. But then, on the other hand, you have the reality of right now, a total collapse in profitability. It just makes you wonder, right? How can a company grow that fast and just forget how to make money? All of this, as you can imagine, puts K&R Engineering at a huge crossroads. So what's the path forward look like? Well, it's a complicated mix. There's some potential opportunity for sure, but also some really significant, undeniable risks. To really get a handle on that risk, we've got to look at a key metric called return on equity, or ROE. It's pretty simple, really. It just tells you how good a company is at using its shareholders' money to make a profit. And for K&R, well, that number is negative right now. And that, my friends, is a major red flag. It's basically screaming financial inefficiency. So where do they go from here? It's a real balancing act. On the plus side, hey, the whole rail sector is growing, so there could be new projects coming down the pipeline. That's good. But the concerns, they're pretty severe. An operating margin under 2%, that is razor thin. Their project execution can be lumpy, which is a nice way of saying unpredictable. And those negative returns we just talked about, they're a constant weight, just dragging everything down. And this really brings us to the one big question facing everyone involved: the company, its employees, its investors. You have this incredible history of growth smashing right into this current reality of financial trouble. So whatever moves the company makes next, they are going to be absolutely critical. They will decide whether K&R Engineering can get back on track, or if this is just the start of a much longer and way more damaging derailment.